What is a cat's favorite dessert? Fee lime pie. Welcome to the stream, my friends. Happy Thursday. Sorry we're a little bit late tonight, but thank you for being here with me, everybody. I hope you are doing well. We've got Dead Zergling first in chat, followed by Lucent Jelly, Final Fantasy, and Cows Are Important. Welcome in all. Notification comes 5 minutes late. That's not atypical, it seems. Meow Caroons. Cows' punchline is better than mine. I'm having a bad day today, Final says. I lost the ability to play any game now, so I'm having some non-children beverages. That's not good. That's not good to hear, Final. Hopefully you'll find a way back. Chalk catnip cookies. Is that what we're going for? Feline pie. That is a special kind of terrible. I didn't come up with it, Cal says. I stole it from the plushie seller that I purchased my Meow Caroon from. That's a thing? That's a thing someone makes? That's pretty cute. I blame Until Dawn on the PlayStation 4, Final says. That one in particular was giving you a lot of trouble. We've got 2 games on the schedule for tonight, my friends. Jump King, followed by Jet Force Gemini. The idea is to give each game half of the night. It may not play out like that in reality. Jump King may get the larger half, but we'll see. We reached a new PB last night, and we tied it a few times. So there's a lot of excitement. There's a lot of excitement in my heart at the moment, which is unfortunately likely going to translate into nerves, and we will find that I am playing especially terribly, even for me. But hopefully we'll have some fun regardless. Jet Force Gemini, we've just got to wander through the stages like we've been doing. Just sort of a semi-systematic sweep through everywhere, looking for what? We don't know. But we'll know when we find it. I know I'm looking for spaceship parts, but I don't know where, when, how, or who they're hidden by. So it's tough to track them down. Hey, Derek Ocean, welcome in. Evil demon lanterns. These lanterns are rough. These lanterns are really tough. They it looks like these jumps are not all that bad because the lanterns look very wide. But because they are round, they're actually very difficult to land on. The actual space on which you are able to stand is quite narrow, in fact. What was the verdict on Bubsy 3D? We are completely done with Bubsy 3D final. We did the ultimate 100% playthrough, and then I went back and I defeated all the bosses damageless. There's really nothing to do. There's really nothing left for me to do with that game. The only way I'll probably ever play Bubsy 3D again is if I start doing retro achievements. Which I have no concrete plans of doing anytime in the foreseeable future. One moment, please. Alright, thank you, Jelly, for the coffee. I'll post a picture in the Discord. Cow says she was lemon flavored, so she lives in the citrus themed kitchen. I don't know if that just means that your kitchen is citrus themed, or if you have multiple kitchens featuring different themes. I really like Bubsy 3D though. Bubsy 3D was a lot of fun. I enjoyed Bubsy 3D more than I am currently enjoying Jet Force Gemini. The singular kitchen is themed citrus, Cow says. If I'd had to wager, that's what I would have guessed, as homes with multiple kitchens are somewhat atypical in my experience. But I don't want to make assumptions. Someone told me about another game recently that was made by the same team that made Bubsy 3D. That I couldn't believe. What was it? I'll have to look into it. Hey, Happy Pin, welcome in. It might have been Columbo. There was a Columbo video game I learned about recently. Jelly and I have been watching a lot of Columbo. We watch a couple episodes a week, typically when we're eating dinner. Not every night, but, you know, 3 or 4 nights a week. So I have that show a lot on my mind lately. So, but I looked to see if there was ever a Columbo themed video game, and there was one on the Apple Newton, apparently. I don't even know what that is. But that could be the one. That might be the one that I read was developed by the Bubsy 3D, by people who worked on Bubsy 3D. That needs to be fact checked. Don't just take my word for it. It must have been on the Super NES. Everything was on the Super NES. I believe it was on the Apple Newton, which made me sad because I think there's no way I can stream it. I just found out about a thing. Final says liminal spaces, and then IGN released a liminal spaces game like 2 weeks ago. I'm familiar with that term. The kind of odd, oft overlooked, and sometimes unsettling transitional points between two areas. A space that's not quite one area or the other. Homes with multiple kitchens are called investment opportunities, EpiPen says. I'm thinking like along the lines of a timeshare. Though we could be thinking in terms of like mansions. Newton was one of the first PDA devices and the granddaddy of the iPhone, EpiPen says. I didn't know that. I just assumed it was a computer. A place completely void of life. Something nostalgic you haven't seen since childhood, or possibly in a dream, or in another life, Final says. Welcome in, May. Thank you very much for the lurk. Appreciate the support and the well wishes. And of course, I hope that your work goes smoothly and productively. Minimal stress, maximum output. I think we would appreciate it if you started taking some performance-enhancing drugs. I already do. It's called caffeine. Frownie's all natural. As much as I travel for business, I spend enough time in liminal spaces, Cal says. I don't need that in video games, too. Ah, like a home with a completely finished separate area that you could rent out. Yeah, that makes more sense. See, I just said timeshare just because I when I hear of property being an investment opportunity, I think of that's what comes to my mind. But it didn't actually make sense in reference to your comment and the actual flow of conversation. I was the one that was off base. Most certainly. My grandparents had a situation like that. And for a good while when I was young, my mother and I lived in my grandparents' basement. While my dad went off to train to become a police officer. It was a very It was a very odd time. It was a very odd time in my childhood. I watched a lot of 70s era game shows during that time. And I didn't go to school a lot because I'd gotten terribly sick. Game was called Pool House. With these places, these types of places, it's difficult to imagine they actually exist, Final says. I haven't heard of this game. I call timeshare when you play Mario Brothers 3 with 2 players and you have to wait your turn. The Mario 1 is like that as well, right? A timeshare is not an investment opportunity. I'm glad this came up so I could tell you it's a scam. I'm aware of that, EpiPen. Thank you for looking out for me. I'm at least savvy enough to I'm at least savvy enough to recognize that. Waiting to have your turn in a video game is the only timeshare you should ever participate in. I associate watching 70s game shows with being sick too, Cal says. Yeah, I watched a lot of Card Sharks and Family Feud and Match Game. Never think of a timeshare as an investment opportunity. Well, no. I just think of it in regards to that term because that's always how it's pitched, not because that's what it actually is. I'm not afraid of being taken advantage of in any sort of scam. I have wisely I've wisely inoculated myself from all potential scams. I'm invincible because I have shrewdly decided to never have any money. And do I have a bridge to sell you? I was thinking about a jump I hadn't actually reached yet, and my hands just instinctively did the wrong thing. They responded to the jump that I was seeing with my mind's eye and not my actual eyes. You know, the game is good when the fifth move is impossible. Apple Newton was way ahead of its time. It's trying to make the iPhone before it was possible. They later figured it out because of a time traveler. For what it's worth, EpiPen says, not a fan of Steve Jobs or Apple. It's just facts. I've had a couple Apple products, but not much. I had an iPod. I had an iPod Touch once upon a time. And it was alright. It served me very well. While it lasted. The family computer growing up was one of those see-through colorful iMacs in purple, Cal says. The finest of colors. I never had an actual Apple computer of any sort. One of the school computers when I was in grade school might have been an Apple, but we never got to use it very much. There was a computer in the library, but it wasn't like for student use. It was like the librarian's computer. Though I do think we were allowed to play Oregon Trail on it at some point. So if Apple computers had Oregon Trail, then it was some sort of Apple computer. We had the Commodore 64, and we had this great big beige laptop that ran some version of DOS. And the laptop was gigantic. It had to weigh 50 pounds, and the battery pack weighed 30 more pounds. It was gigantic. If you put it on your lap, it would crush your legs into dust. But it was basically just, it didn't have any, we didn't have any software for it. It was basically just a like deluxe typewriter. It was really all the laptop was. I used it for a lot of homework assignments. And we got some sort of Windows XP computer when I was in high school. And when I went to college, I got an E-Machines computer. And I love that thing. That was amazing. Frownie needs Burnout 3 on PlayStation 2. I actually have, you believe it or not, and welcome to the stream, Chozo. I've played one of the Burnout games. I played Burnout Paradise on the, I think I played on the Xbox 360. I never played all the way through it or anything. I probably played like 30 or 40 hours of it. I recall that game being a lot of fun, and I'm not really, that, I don't really like games that are just all about driving around in cars all that much. I'm not really big into racing games, but Burnout Paradise was a lot of fun. But I don't know what the rest of the series is like at all. The Newton was the first attempt to push the tech they could into a handheld device, so you can really see how innovative it was. The best PDA for about a decade. Palm Pilot tried to beat it. iPhone came out, cleared out Palm Pilot and BlackBerry. Oregon Trail was designed to work on Apple. Alright, then the library computer is probably an Apple computer. The best-selling educational software of all time. Gaming historian just did a documentary about it. E-Machines, Windows 98 or ME. I definitely had Windows XP on mine. I'm quite certain of that. I think I still have the backup discs for it somewhere. So if I ever get a hold of an old computer on which I need to install Windows XP, I'm prepared. Burnout Paradise, pretty much open world Burnout 3. Without the crash mode. In crash mode, you set up an intersection and cause as much damage to the city and other people's property as possible. Played Stuntman a couple of times. You need like 100 tries per episode to really beat that game. I think I saw Kyle playing that game on stream a while back, and that looked like fun. Stuntman. That looked like a driving game that I might actually would give a try someday too. That's why you suggested it, because the destruction is a blast. How you doing, Frownie? I'm doing all right. I'm not, you know, Jump King's not going very smoothly yet, but you know, maybe I just need to warm up. Windows XP has ended up as one of the most resilient operating systems. Yeah, my parents, that same Windows XP computer that my parents had, not my e-machine, but the one that my parents bought before that, that ended up running for, my goodness, like 21, 22 years. I know that's not like thanks to the operating system necessarily, but that computer, they had it set up in their computer room. They'd never replaced it for at least 20 years, but I think it was a couple longer than that. And all it pretty much was, all it was at the end was just a machine for playing Spider Solitaire. Partially to the OS. It evolved over time. The default desktop background? Oh yeah. Flat Out 2 on the PlayStation 2 and 360 is also great. It has modes where you have to crash and fling your character's body out of the windscreen and through hoops and other crazy stuff. Oh my goodness. I mean, those might be kind of fun. I like, we played on the stream one night Destruction Derby. And I had fun with that. I don't know how to beat that game. That game, I don't know what the objective is. It just seems to just kind of go on forever. I've got a couple of the other ones too. I don't remember if I bought Destruction Derby 64. But I've definitely got a few of the ones on discs. I bought them because I remembered renting Destruction Derby 64 when I was young and enjoying it quite a bit. So I was like, well, why don't I couldn't find that one at the time, so I was like, why don't I just buy some of the other ones? And hopefully they'll be good too. But we've only played the first one so far. If you install Windows XP, there's no support for Wi-Fi, but if you update it to the latest version, it's very good at that. That's just an example of how it evolved. It was hard to get people to stop using XP because of how resilient it was. So I've owned computers. My first computer had Windows XP. And then I bought my second computer had Windows 7. And now my current computer has Linux Lite. The current computer came with Windows 8 installed on it, but I didn't want to figure out how to use Windows 8, so I replaced it with Linux Lite. Hey Greg, welcome in. Hope all is well for you tonight. I didn't say hi before because I was just lurking, but I was hanging out about the same time that you were in at the same time that you were. I was hanging out in Nato's stream for some Tears of the Kingdom earlier, around the same time you were there. But I was doing a bunch of stuff, so I didn't want to come out of AFK mode. They're running XP on submarines till the mid to late 2010s with extended support because they didn't want to change. I mean, why would you want to if you have something that works? You build a number of servers on a government contract. They have the inside scoop then. No, I believe it. So we have been up here a few times. This next area. This area is quite thrilling. It's very challenging. It's got some nasty jumps. It's very scary up here. And I never seem to stay up there for very long. I'll let you know. I'll try to let you know if I hit a new PB. I have been higher than where we just were before. So we were within range. Anytime we get up there, we're pretty much in range of a new PB, because I feel like I haven't seen a lot of that Phantom Tower area, but I've seen a bit of it a couple times. It's really hard. It's really hard to operate up there, because a lot of the platforms up there disappear after you stand on them for a few seconds. So you're forced to try and move ahead really quickly. And so I'm not exactly able to plan my jumps as I would prefer to do. All the XP stuff was forced to end in around 2017. I said that I switched this computer to Linux because I didn't want to learn Windows 8, and that's partially true, but it's also the case that this was a second-hand laptop, and I didn't, you know, I wasn't going to necessarily trust its history, so I wanted to just reformat everything and give it a blank slate and a clean start. I don't know if or when I'll go back to Windows again. I mean, I guess probably. Probably when this laptop ceases to function, whatever I buy next will probably have, you know, whatever version of Windows is current on it, and I'll probably just use that. But we'll see, because I might, you know, I might buy a new PC, or I might go down to the pawn shop and buy another used PC and go Linux again. I don't really have, like, I'm not much of a computer guy at all, so I don't really have strong opinions about what I use. As long as I can figure out how to do the, like, 2 or 3 things I even want to do on a computer, I'm happy with it. You know, I don't run a lot of complicated software. I don't play computer games, so, like, there's not a lot that I ask a computer to do. If it can run OBS for me, then that's pretty much all I need from it. I need a web browser and I need OBS, and that's pretty much it. Windows 11 is fine, Jozo says. Prefer Linux. Use Linux all the time. I don't advocate against it. Just saying you have a license for Windows 11 attached to your device if it came with Windows 8. Makes sense, I suppose. OBS is pretty cool. It is. It served me very well. It served me very well. It had me pulling my hair out a few times earlier on in the stream, but then it turns out that the problems that I had with OBS weren't problems with OBS. They were problems with me, because I am always the source of all of my computer problems. My great nemesis. My Moriarty. My Joker. My Lord Voldemort. The great nemesis of my life is user error. He stalks my every movement. I really appreciate how cozy the soundtrack is in the cat area, Cal says. The cat sound effects are not driving you out of your mind, Cows. Nope, they're perfect. I had to do this class online once, where you had to be on screen, so I used OBS to stream a virtual webcam. That was just a 3-minute loop of me looking at the screen. And then I took a nap. I've sat through some online webinars where I would have liked to have done that. We only want you to get a new computer so you can stream in 1080p, and we can watch you eat spicy things in HD, Choso says. Yeah, I don't know how to adjust the the resolution the stream is broadcast in, but I wouldn't count on that happening anytime soon. I don't understand how to do it, and I would be scared to even try for fear of making things worse. So just imagine you're watching the stream on a VHS tape. It's those. We don't need HD. We've got those lo-fi composite video sort of vibes. Well, I mean, if you're gonna do the thing, you want to do it well, right? The thing about that also, though, Chozo, is like... the game footage is captured in a low resolution. So even if I streamed in a higher resolution, I mean, it's not gonna upscale the footage that I'm capturing. The game is captured at a low resolution, and my webcam is a cheap webcam that, I mean, I don't imagine it has a particularly great resolution. So even if I upped the, like, if I upped what I was broadcasting, you would just get a high definition picture of a low resolution image. Frownie has no reason to upgrade confirmed. Hey, let me see. Hey, Conqueror Worm, welcome in. Can I see this? Like the game capture, the resolution for the game capture is set at 460 by 480. And then I stretch the image to 16 by 9 or whatever. Because left unstretched, it would be misshapen. I like the low-fi resolution of your webcam. It suits the atmosphere of your stream. Thank you, Conqueror Worm. It's all a conscious choice. It's all a conscious stylistic choice. It's not that I'm a Luddite who wants to do everything in the cheapest and laziest way possible. It's not that at all. I'm just going for a particular style. Don't be fooled. Great boomer vibes at the If the shoe fits. Hey, Loyal, welcome in. I think it's the first time I've ever offended you. Was I'm offended? I thought I just agreed. Stoked to catch up and hang out for a little bit. Very happy to have you here with us, Loyal. As always. Upgraded from 720p to 1080p. Took me 5 minutes to resize everything. I still have the 720p option for those with not as good internet, Chozo says. Oh, well, there's the other thing, is I figured that if people watch the stream like I do, which, you know, probably most people don't, but I'm always watching streams in, like, data saver mode on my tablet, so it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter to me what resolution any of the streams I watch are in, so... Because they're all gonna be downgraded to as low of a resolution as I can drop them to. Your CPU and internet are only going to render so well depending on your resolution, so this is probably a really good choice for you. And that's really still that your equipment handles it so well. I tried streaming on very good equipment and it puts the squeeze on. It's not really something like It's not really something I ever give a whole lot of thought to. I mean, like, for the most part, you know, like, I'm playing, as it is, I'm playing video games on, like, the NES is about to be 40 years old, right? I don't have a fancy computer, and when I decided that I wanted to put together the stream, you know, I went on Amazon and I bought the second cheapest option for every piece of hardware I needed. that was how I decided my webcam, my capture equipment, the cables that I needed. I said to myself, the cheapest option available. I'm way better than that. I'll have the second cheapest option, thank you very much. Frownie is, Mr. Moneybags, spending the extra 2 cents per item. That was, that's not even really a joke, though. That really is how I selected everything. Oh. I touched my eye and now it's bothering me. I have to wipe my eyes for a moment. So it was so hard to get my Twitch stream to be constant and not bug out. I wanted to stream Mario Maker, but I failed. My PC is still named Twitchbox. Mario Maker is what I thought I would end up streaming a lot of. I've been watching a lot of Mario Maker content at the time, and whenever when I was putting my equipment together and doing test streams, all of my test streams were Mario Maker. I kind of figured I would end up playing a lot of that. So I really like Mario Maker, and I've played it on the stream. In 3 years, I've played Mario Maker on the stream one night. We played it exactly one night. And I don't even think it was the whole night. I've never seen you play it. I don't think that's true, Cows. I think you were here that night. I think maybe you've just forgotten. I was trying to do the, I was going to try and do the Iron Bros challenge, where you have to beat 50 levels in a row deathless. The only thing I remember is I got a level that was a, on one of my attempts, one of the levels I got was a math problem, and I swear I did the math right, but I still wound up soft locked or in a death area. Yeah, I thought I got the I thought you were here for that. That sounds familiar, Cal says. I thought I remembered you being here for that for the bad math level. That's really the only part of the night that I remember. I definitely remember the math not mathing. Started watching Twitch because Mario Maker was so satisfying. You're fine. You're fine, EpiPen. I don't like, you know. There's no issue with people that like that hang out with us, you know, regularly and like, you know, that have been a part of the chat for a while, sharing, you know, like things that they do and stuff like that. Active community participants. Yeah. That's it's good to know, you know, what people are up to. That's just part of our ongoing conversation. It's only like gross self-promotion for like people who like come in that we don't know and they don't know us. Just come in and sort of spam their nonsense. When you're part of the crowd, it's completely different. Hey, losses, welcome in. Yeah, it's pretty slippery, and I'm not doing really well right now. I haven't been doing very well in this area in general, I guess, because I feel like I say that every time lately here that I'm not doing very well. But yeah, it's really slippery. It's worse than ice. No, I just lost my focus and jumped completely the wrong way. Everything's covered in too much cat fur. Well, if that were the case, if that were the case, then you think I would be expertly trained to handle this, because I've got 3 cats. There's cat fur everywhere. Oh. The giant boots make my situation incalculably worse. Watching people fail at the same thing over and over again is my jam on Twitch, EpiFan says. That's why I was originally watching Mario Maker for, but I didn't realize it until just now. I like watching people persevere through something that is very difficult and frustrating. I love when I get to see someone try and play through Super Ghouls and Ghosts for the first time on Twitch, since that's my favorite game. And it's hard to find a good playthrough of it because a lot of people give up and they won't do loop 2, or they'll use save states or something like that, and that's not interesting for me to watch. I'd rather see people, play through it for real, really beat it, get the true ending, do it the hard way, go pay their dues, do the suffering, achieve eternal glory. It's always fun when I can find someone, doing that for the first time on Twitch, but it's kind of hard. I don't come across a lot of those streams. But I love when I do. And I will say that at the beginning of the stream, I don't root for the streamer. As evil as it may sound, I will admit I do root for the game at the beginning of the stream. When someone's just getting started, I want them to see all of the nastiness the game has to offer, all of the bad luck, all of the brutality. I root for the game to unleash itself upon them. But if they do it right and they do it for real and they stick with it, they'll win me over by the end. And then when they're up there to the end of the loop 2, I'm ready to start rooting for the player. They made it through the tutorial. Earned a victory, and now I want to see them win. Watching people not get mad at video games, I think it makes me a better person. Well, I definitely get mad at video games. I definitely get mad at some of these games. I just try to control it. Safe state abuser checking in losses says. You gotta play the way that you want to play. Just how terrible is life going to be when you finally fall below the cat area again, Zergling says. I won't have to worry about drowning in the bog, Zergling, because I'll drown in a sea of my own tears. I'm rooting for you, but I also probably wouldn't be watching if you were zooming through this game. Well, you're in luck. I rarely zoom through anything. We call what we do here on this stream snail running. Even the games I'm good at, I'm slow at. I hit the fast forward button climbing ladders in Ghosts and Goblins and didn't really think I was wrong for it, Losses says. Well, it's not the way that I would play, you know. I don't like to, you know, I don't want to give people grief who play games differently than I play because, you know, I do believe that you should play in the way that makes the game fun for you. And if you can't have fun repeatedly bashing your head against a brick wall like I can, then maybe you shouldn't do it. You know? But I do gravitate, when it comes to the stuff I watch, I do gravitate to people who toward streams to watch where people play the way that I play. And, you know, no, if you really want my opinion, you know, do I think people who have used like save states and fast forward and things like that, which I would consider cheats, do I think people that use that have really beaten the games they played? In my opinion, not really, but I also think that people shouldn't really care about what my opinion is. My opinion does not have a lot of value. You should not, don't care about Agent Frownie's personal leaderboard. I didn't know there were armor drops, though, so in my mind it balances out. Extra armor does go a long way to help you out. Frownie is a lesson in even temper for us all, Cal says. Just trying to do my part. My stream was like 33 1/3 F-bombs, EpiPen says. Yeah, almost every stream I watch features, you know, a higher degree of adult language than you'll hear on my stream. I can't really think of a stream that at least not an active one that is quite so strict in its attempts to maintain family-friendly language. But, you know, I don't have a problem with it. You know, I watch those kinds of, I watch other streams that are intended for more mature audiences, and we raid into those streams fairly regularly. The only person watching was my mom, so EpiPen says. I mean, for the first I don't know, month of my stream, the only person watching was my wife. And for the overwhelming majority of those streams, Jelly wasn't even really there for them. She'd check in at the beginning and then she'd go to bed. Kind of like she does now. I could have never beat Super Meat Boy Forever if it wasn't for watching streams like yours. Enjoying a game without quote-unquote beating it is completely valid too, Cal says. Yeah, yeah. I like to approach games like a challenge to be surmounted, and I frequently, I feel a greater sense of accomplishment the more difficult the challenge is to overcome. So I want to find games that are really tough, and I want to try and beat them in a way that stacks the deck against me as much as possible, usually. But, because I value that, that sort of sense of achievement that I get from doing that more than I value my moment-to-moment happiness playing the game. But it's not an objectively correct value system. In fact, I would argue that my perspective on games is one that is frequently not to be emulated. The Agent Frownie stream is for entertainment purposes only. It is not an educational stream. Promoting a way of life. There's still plenty to unlock. Have you ever given Punch-Out a good try? I've played some hard games, but holy Moses, I can't beat it, Losses says. I have not. I have not, Losses. I have played a very small amount of Punch-Out as a kid. But I've never picked the game up with a serious attempt to ever play through it. That's one that I want to do. It's been on my mind to try and learn. I do understand it to be really difficult, and I've heard that you need to play it on a CRT to get through Mike Tyson at the end. Also heard you need a CRT for Battletoads, but I have heard that people have beat it in emulation too, so. But no, I would like to try that one. That one would be a the stream is mal-educational. I would like to do Punch-Out. I know that that's going to be one of those that it's going to be like Battletoads probably, where it's going to be a really long, like I'm going to have to commit to live with this game for weeks to figure out how to do it, because it's very hard, and it's also not, it also doesn't seem similar to stuff I've done before, right? It's not a platformer. So I'm already out of my depth a little bit, in addition to it being super hard. I've actually probably played more of Super Punch-Out than I have of regular Punch-Out, though. I played Super Punch-Out a few times with my cousin when I was a kid, and I think we could make it up to one of the boxers in Super Punch-Out is a kickboxer. I think we could make it up to that guy. But I think that's as far as I ever got in Super Punch-Out. And we might not have even made it that far on our own. Our dads might have helped us. Our dads might have had to have helped us to make it that far. So I don't know. I mitigate my colorful language and deranged sense of humor for this chat quite a bit, EpiPen says. Your efforts are appreciated, EpiPen. Adult language is a kind way to put it, Zergling says. The behavior that accompanies said language is usually less than adult. I don't think I beat a game in a year or so, because I get bored, But I beat 2 this month, EpiPen says. But also, my defense, I enjoyed them quite a bit. Right on. I try to keep track of the games that we beat on the stream, and like I'll look and see, you know, what the flow has been like. And I do really like when I have a month that's like stacked up with a lot of victories, or we beat a whole bunch of games. But that usually means I was playing a bunch of trash that's easy to beat in one night. So the list of the more impressive list of accomplishments are also usually more hollow. But there are, you know, even like with the stream, like there's some months where we'll beat like 20 games, and there's some months where we beat like 4. And I mean, that's not true. I guess I didn't count a lot of games I was playing because they weren't popular, like Ace Attorney or South Park. You don't need a CRT, you just need an upscaler. Went through all my classic gaming devices, got them all working on flat screens last year. There's a hidden level in Super Meat Boy Forever that's a Punch-Out level. When Buster Douglas beat Mike Tyson in real life, the first fight that Tyson ever lost, he said, "I kept practicing in the game and I could beat him every time. There I know this would be easy." Where does the time go when I play this game? We've been playing this for so long, and I've only seen the tower one brief moment. Can we peep the timer for this level? I don't know. I've been playing this... Since we started Ghost of the Babe, we're at almost 20 hours. Almost... How are we this far? This long? That doesn't seem right. I've only been in this cat area. Well, how long? We were here for about a half an hour the first night. And then last night we were here the whole stream. So that's about 4.5 hours. And then we're coming up on 2 tonight. So it's about 6.5 hours since I first reached the House of 9 Lives. I haven't fallen below the House of 9 Lives yet. I undoubtedly will. I am 100% certain I will at some point, and then I will be very sad for very many years. Blundered the first jump. Blundered the first jump. Heard the new music for all of 2 seconds. I mean, that's about how that goes. I mean, I usually make it higher than that, but honestly, not by much. I think I saw it took me 31 nights to reach the credits in Jump King for the first time. There are 31 sessions of Jump King in the archive. So that means I played it for an average of 3 hours. An average of 3 hours every time we played it. That's a lot of nights. That's an entire month. That's an entire month of Jump King. The first, that's almost a year. The first Battletoads playthrough was almost the same hours-wise, but I think it's divided into much fewer sessions. I don't remember. 31 doesn't seem right for Battletoads. I think I was playing it for longer stretches every night. Oh my goodness. No! Jump King, stop falling. I know we just finished Jankulai earlier this month. But I'm already thinking, like, so next month is May, so I'm gonna want to play some spooky games for Halloween next month. And then I have a small set of shovelware games that I've been saving to play in June because I think they'll be seasonally appropriate. I think they'll make for good summertime games. But then the thing is, they're shovelware games, so it's gonna be a janky June. And then after that it's the month of Jankulai already. So like 2024 is shaping up to be a really like trash heavy year. Because who knows how many months Jankulai is going to last. Historically it seems to carry on at least into September. You say that like you're not the one orchestrating all this. I'm at both ends of the marionette strings. I am the puppet and the puppeteer. There's a lot of trash on the schedule. What can you do? Yep. January, Halloween. No, we do Halloween in May. Some people say there's Christmas in July, so that must mean there's Halloween in May. Trashula. Count Trashula. I like it. No. Oh. That should have not worked. I don't know. I'm really confused as to what happened just now. There's a big horror convention called Midsummer Scream, so I think you're onto something. That's not my original idea. I've heard the Halloween in May thing somewhere before, and it just kind of stuck with me. I just thought it was a good excuse to play some spooky games at the wrong time. I don't really have anything particular in mind yet, though, for this May. I'm just thinking that's something we should do, and we usually only do like it's not the whole month when we do the Halloween in May. I think last year it was only one night. Was that last year? I don't know. It was only one night in May, one year, but that turned out to be the night I beat Zombies Ate My Neighbors for the first time, and I never thought that was going to happen in my life. So that was a good night. No thanks, November. In November we do Janksgiving, where we play plug and play games, which has historically just wound up being 50 video games included, because my other plug and plays were so jank they wouldn't even function. We did, what else did we do? We did Power Rangers and Deal or No Deal, so we've done a couple other Janksgiving games, but that night has not worked out that well. I wrote a song with a friend about that game, Zombies Ate My Neighbors. I always think of that song that Mr. Rogers sings. Zombies ate my neighbors. It was a punk song. He used the title for the chorus. Sounds like you're having a fine, relaxing evening, Loyal. Zombies Ate My Neighbors is a game. I had that game as a kid, and I really thought that was one that I may never beat my whole life. So making it into that was pretty shocking. That game is really tough. I kind of cheesed it though. My victory, I mean, I didn't do it on purpose, but I did. My victory is like sort of a cheesy one because I didn't end up having to fight one of the bosses. But oh well. That's just the way it panned out. I didn't beat Zelda 2 until I was 22 and I first played it when I was like 4. Oh yeah. And I mean there's lots of games like that. That's just one that I just didn't count on ever being able to beat it. I thought it was too different from my skill set and just too challenging in general for me. But you know, like Super Ghouls and Ghosts, I played that from the time it came out, and I didn't beat that until like, I don't know, 2012 or something. Smurfs for Game Boy is a good jank game. There's a few Smurfs games out there. We played Smurfs on the Atari one night. Oh. Commands only work if you spell them right. I'll never stop pushing for Home Improvement on SNES. Home Improvement's, oh no, I was thinking of Home Alone. Home Improvement would be good to do, though. I think it would be good to do, like... I should look and see, was Home Improvement part of the... Was that ever part of the, like, TGIF lineup? Because it's from that same era, right? As if it was, like, I should look up and see what games were made that were licensed out of that, like, show roster, and just play them all together, maybe. Right? 'Cause there's got to be a dinosaurs game, right? And whatever else. I don't know what all was. I'd have to like look on Wikipedia or something. Compare the Super NES library to TGIF history. Make a little list, and then we could marathon a bunch of them together. It might be fun. There has to be an Urkel game. Yeah, there's got to be, right? No. If you don't count Sonic. Yeah. I remember that trivia. that piece of trivia that he was the voice for Sonic. I didn't know it was for two. I didn't know it was for two different series. I was thinking the Home Alone games could be fun to play just because there's a Home Alone 1 and 2 game on a lot of different platforms, right? So there's a ton of games because of that. I mean, so like it could be fun to do those just because there's so many of them. I think it was canceled and started back up again. Oh, I'm 100% gonna play that game someday. I've done Turtles 2 on the NES, and I did that one first just because I was already familiar with it. But yeah, we're gonna go back and do 1 and 3 sometime. You know, you're not gonna succeed in talking me out of playing a game by telling me how bad it is. I'm the guy playing Jump King. I'm afraid of no game. I just don't want to watch it. Who knows? Maybe it'll go real well. The Lion King on the Super NES is a, pretty notoriously janky and difficult game, and we made it through that one first try, so sometimes I get lucky. And sometimes I end up stuck on the Klinger Winger for a solid month. The water level is there to crush your hubris. Oh, good. I need to be taken down a notch. Bayonetta. Yeah, I don't know much about that game. I don't know if it's something that I would be into. Oops. That was careless. I'm shocked I didn't pay more dearly for it. It's a button masher. Good story, too. Is Bayonetta connected to Devil May Cry? There seems... like, I don't think that they're, like, in the same universe or anything, or, like, they're the same franchise, but there seems to be... I don't know. One of them reminds me of the other. From what little I've seen of each. I usually skip through the story, but it was alright. Still playing. It's like an unofficial sequel. Similar game makers are included. That was the impression that I had. Until Devil May Cry 4 came out. And Devil May Cry started as a Resident Evil project. Played 1 and 3, loved them both. Bought 4 and was boring. Yeah, I haven't looked into any of them yet. One of my friends had the first one. My buddy, when I was in high school, who had a PlayStation 2, he had Devil May Cry 1. He really liked it. But I didn't ever check it out. The worst part about playing games that are so tough is that they take me forever, and so I don't have time to play other games. There's so many games out there I've never played, and I've got a limited time to play through them all. And that I choose to spend so much of that time playing games that take me forever to make progress in. I'm never gonna get to so many. Uh-oh, don't want to fall down here. Like, this isn't bad, but, you know, still don't want to see that. I want to forget that anything below the House of Nine Lives exists. Nintendo owns the game studio that makes Bayonetta. Capcom owns Devil May Cry. We were doing so well for so long. I don't know why it is that, like, I just miss every jump over and over again, and then, like, every 90th attempt, my brain unlocks, and I suddenly make a whole bunch of them in a row. Just out of nowhere. Like, I do so bad for so long, and then I have one string of really good jumps. And then it's back to being terrible again. It's really odd that it would be this way. Bayonetta's banned in Smash Brothers tournaments because she's too OP. I think I heard that... Well, I don't know. I don't know much about competitive Smash Brothers. I thought that Meta Knight was... I'd heard that Meta Knight was banned in one of the versions of the game. But... I don't know. I know so little. I don't know a lot about Smash Brothers to begin with, and I'm not particularly interested in the competitive scene. I would feel very unhappy. I would feel very unhappy, though, to participate in one of those communities and end up in a situation where, like, my preferred character in a game was one to be banned by the community. Meta Knight is banned in Brawl. Bayonetta is banned in Smash 4. Minecraft Steve is banned in Smash Ultimate. That's the brain cell perfectly hitting the corner of the brain screensaver. Oh, I love that, cows. That's the best. Oh, I'm gonna try and hold on to that. I'm gonna try and hold on to that thought. My skull is this big empty space where a tiny icon of a brain, a little 8-bit pixel art of a brain floats around inside of the void that is my skull. And every now and then it touches the corner of my skull in just the right way that it lights up. And I can play really well for 30 seconds. I like this. I haven't beaten any of the Bayonetta games, but I still plug them in from time to time and chip away. I'm kind of like that with Smash TV. I've never beaten any version of Smash TV, but I throw it on and make a few runs every now and then. Those characters in Smash are all banned for good reasons, Lawson says. Eventually, there will come the time. Eventually, there'll have to come the time, right? If I am to beat this, eventually there'll have to come the time where I do have a run where every jump is perfect, and very much looking forward to being on the other side of that. Of those types of shmups, Geometry Wars, for example. Shmup is my favorite genre. There's not a whole lot of those that I play. We played R-Type on the stream, the Game Boy version of that. It's not super great. My favorite shmup is Gunsmoke on the NES. But it's one of very few that I've actually played. I do like those. I like the twin stick shooter games though, like Smash TV, and I guess Robotron is a twin stick shooter, but I know that fact, but though I've never really played that game. I'd probably like it. My favorite twin stick shooter is I made a game with zombies in it on the Xbox 360. But again, I don't have a lot of experience with the genre. don't really care for right progressing shmups. Like horizontal ones that move left to right. Up progressing or survive the rectangle double sticks. Yeah, and I'm probably more inclined to those given the few that I've mentioned that I like. I think I probably line up similarly. Hey, Master Tuesday is here with the face cam inversion. We can make that happen. Happy Tuesday to you, Tuesday. Hope all is well. I generally prefer up progressing jumps, Losses says. Well, yeah, I'm definitely a platformer guy, like, through and through. That's probably why Smash TV and Gunsmoke appeal to me, even though they're shmups, is because you control a human character in both of them instead of a vehicle. So, like, that gives me, like, an illusion that I'm still close to platformer territory, even though they're completely not platformers. I think in general I prefer to control a humanoid character in a game rather than a vehicle. I can't really explain that, but if I look at, like, what games are my favorite, games where you exclusively control a vehicle are, I don't think, likely to be featured very frequently on my favorites list. I don't consider right progressing and up progressing shmups to be the same kind of games either, EpiPen says. You think that up progressing and rectangle ones are the same? See, I would say right progressing and up progressing are the same, and rectangle are something different. All is well, Tuesday says. Maybe deciding what game to play next. I was going to play robots, but Moose's Esters, welcome in. Dr. Evil Knievel, or whatever it was called, is not on your favorites list. Oh, Dr. Evil Knievel. Dr. Evil Knievel is on my, like, list of infamy. It's a game I'm never gonna forget. And it's a game I'm never gonna play again. But it's good. It'll haunt me forever. We are gonna play the game that's a reskin of at some point down the line. We are going to play Evil Knievel on the Game Boy Color. I don't know when, but I'm committed to playing that and Reservoir Rat. Reservoir Rat will probably beat in one night, and Evil Knievel I'll probably play for 2 months. So that'll be fun. might do that. I might try and do that later this year. That might be something we do in July. Fun, yeah. Air quotes, fun. Geometry Wars is one of my all-time favorite games, EpiPen says. 1 and 3. Both pretty amazing. I'm very much looking forward to Evil Knievel. I promise it will happen. I always play everything I say I'm going to play eventually. But I'm never good at predicting when I'm going to get to the things I'm going to play. There are a lot of games that, like, I talk about doing them for a year and a half before I actually get to them. And I don't really want to be that way. It's just that I'm not good at estimating how long everything I want to play is going to take. Everything always takes longer than I think it will. If you want Janky to continue to Janktober, then sure, play it in July, Cow says. I don't think that's even an issue of what I want. I think that that's just my destiny. Some of these things feel fated to happen to me. Well, that was cool. That was a cool fall. Feel good about that. I don't know exactly where my PB is. That jump that I just failed in the tower up there, I have made that jump before. I think I've been one screen higher. I think we've seen the screen above that screen once. Is where my PB is, but I'm up there for so brief a time that I have trouble locking the details of that area into my memory. I think it's pretty clear you need a new controller. I should use the Nintendo 64 controller. That would improve my gameplay. Just think, you could probably have a PhD in several subjects, but no, you wanted to play Dr. Evil Knievel and Jump King. They don't hand out PhDs in jank video games. My dreams of graduating from Agent Frownie to Professor Frownie have been dashed. You can write a verbal thesis while playing. I've definitely spent enough time. Dr. McFrownberg. I have a Nintendo 64 controller for the Switch. I picked one of those up, even though I haven't yet subscribed to the expansion, and don't know if I will. I went ahead and got the controller anyway. Maybe not the wisest money I've ever spent. I like the Super Nintendo controller for the Switch. Anything that I can possibly play with the Super Nintendo controller, I do. So, like, when we did Cuphead, I think I played Hollow Knight with the Super Nintendo controller. Anything I can get away with it, we are definitely going to. It is my favorite. It is my favorite controller for anything modern. The Art of Suffering, Exploration into the Delayed Gratification of Success in Jank Video Games, a thesis by Dr. Agent Frownie. Never loved the N64 controller. I mean, the N64 controller is not terrible for what it is, like, except that the joystick is bad and wears out really quick. For a controller that had to, like, play it safe and have it out in case everyone hated the joystick, like, it's pretty much the best. It made sense. It's kind of like, it's definitely terrible in retrospect, but it's not really a logical way to judge it. I actually like, one thing I like about the Nintendo 64 controller, that I actually like the 8-way grooves in the controller. The GameCube has that as well, but controllers don't do that anymore. And I like having the grooves to lock the stick into the eight directions. The longer I ever played on the N64, the more my hand would lock into that position. And I also hated they would disable the left D-pad. Yeah, I don't know. So I tend to use the stick for everything on the N64. I guess, like, I don't know if I've played any two-dimensional games on the N64. If I do, I'll probably be pretty upset if I can't use the D-pad, though. I'll probably feel similarly. Thanks to a long chain of adapters, it is possible to play Switch games with a genuine Nintendo 64 controller. It is also very, very delayed. I like to use so I plugged the Nintendo 64 controller into the GameCube. I've got an adapter for that because I like to use the N64 controller for handheld games. And my GameCube is just a big fancy Game Boy player is all I ever use it for. It's just a Game Boy device. If I'm gonna play a GameCube game, I just use the Wii. Life is much easier that way. Most games, the D-pad is nothing. It does nothing. Well, I prefer... I mean, if you're using the stick, then I would prefer the D-pad do nothing, since I only have two hands. But if there's, like... if the game is, like, of a type where the D-pad could be used instead of the stick, then I would prefer it to be an option. But, like, some games, like Superman 64 and Mission Impossible on the N64, there's functions assigned to the D-pad, even though you're supposed to use the stick and the right-hand buttons. And, I mean... what thumb am I supposed to use for the D-pad, Nintendo? So I don't like that situation. Or the Superman might be the L button. I don't know if the D-pad does anything in Superman, actually. It might be the L button I'm thinking of, but it's same difference. You need a third hand to use all the buttons at the same time. No. Oh, actually, that's better than the previous scenario. I should always be trying to overshoot that jump. What's wrong with me? I mean, it doesn't matter if I bonk off of something else on the way up. Yeah, I'm not keen on having to move my hand around the different grips. I think once I you know, the controller is supposed to be something that becomes, you know, invisible as you play, right? You shouldn't have to think about the controller, and I wouldn't want to be thinking about, am I holding the appropriate grips at any given time? I don't know. That seems more clunky than I would prefer. To have it integrated into regular dealings alongside the other grips. No. That wasn't so bad at all, Cal says. Yeah, if I'm all the way on the right-hand side falling down, that's not too bad. That's not too bad at all. Oh, that Tetris piece is there even when I can't see it. That's interesting. That changes things. No, I knew I was jumping with too much force there. Zelda, Mario, Metroid, I couldn't open my hand afterwards. It would curl into the N64 controller mode all the time. Yeah, I mean, if I were feeling the same way, I would probably be less excited about the N64 controller too. A lot of people complain about the NES controller with the kind of blunt edges of the NES controller, that it hurts their hands after a while. And I actually feel that to some degree. When I play NES games for a long time, my middle finger, my last knuckle on my middle finger starts to get really sore from the way I grip the controller. The edge kind of digs in right above, or, you know, right to the left of my knuckle. And like that's the only time that like the NES controller like makes my hand sore. But even with that being said, the NES controller might be my favorite retro controller. Like I really like the blunt, blocky, simple shape. This has got two great big buttons. It's got a beautiful D-pad, and yeah, just like, I mean, the Super Nintendo controller is like objectively better, but I don't know. I'm really attached to the NES controller. I liken them to, I think about the NES controller and the Super NES controller in the same way that I think about, like, electric guitars, because, like, I think the NES controller is to the Telecaster as the Super NES controller is to the Stratocaster. Like, they're very similar, related guitars, but one of them's got a couple more features. And one of them is just like a blunt block of wood. And you know, I like the NES controller, and I'm a Tele guy. I like Telecasters. Hey, Uncle Muscles, welcome in. How's this DLC treating me? I'm 20 hours in apparently, and it's rough. It hasn't broken my spirit, but I don't make it up to the tower very often, so I am spending a lot of time down here with the cats. Woke up after 4 hours and couldn't get back to sleep. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm glad it means that we get to enjoy your company a little bit. If I can be selfish, but I definitely want the best for your rest and health and well-being. You'll get it. Appreciate the vote of confidence. I think we'll make it. It's just, I don't know. I've got to get better down here. The thing is, I know all of these jumps. I just can't execute them all in sequence very well. Like, I've made every one of these jumps several times, so, like, I understand how they all work, but I can't execute them perfectly back to back to back like I need to be able to do. NES was pretty revolutionary. SNES took it to the next level. Never liked games that use the L button, though. I always remapped fighting games, too. Yeah, I don't like to have the shoulder buttons be very heavily used. The shoulder buttons are great for things like switching weapons or, you know, like special abilities that you use rarely. I don't like any situation where you're pushing the shoulder buttons as much as the face buttons. One exception to that was Celeste. When I played Celeste, I mapped the grip and the dash to the shoulder buttons. They're like my most used buttons, and I don't know why. I don't know why they just turned out that was the way I was most comfortable playing that game. I know it's not an SNES game, but again, I use the SNES controller for it, so that's why I'm thinking of it. You think R is okay, it's just L's the problem since you're busy with the D-pad? Fair enough. I can't think of a lot of games that I would play that would even use L, though, because I generally don't play fighting games by default, so like that's a whole category that's kind of out for me. I understand that feeling. Reminds me of trying to play through Mario The Lost Levels. Oh, I don't like that game. I'm a big Mario fanboy, but I'm not a fan of The Lost Levels. Give me Mario Brothers 2 every day of the week. Mario Brothers 2 is the true heir and successor to Mario Brothers 1. I don't want to hear anything about the Lost Levels. Get it out of here. Mario Brothers 2 is where it's at. The West got the better game. I can't actually see that emote. I can't tell if you're saying that it's good or that Warpless SMB2 is good or bad because there's a whole class of emotes that don't show up. Fire. Okay. Sorry about that. My browser is something about the version of Chrome I'm running. It won't display a lot of the emotes. Does it tell me if I click on it, actually? It doesn't even tell me if I can't even click on it to find out what it is. That's so weird. So I use the version of Linux I use, I think it's called Linux Lite, and I think it's based on that EpiPen. I think it's a version of or derivative of that. I don't know how to say that. I don't know if it's Ubuntu or Ubuntu. 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 I've never heard that word pronounced, so I don't know how to say it. Ooh, like wool? Ubuntu. Okay, there we go. Ubuntu. It's an African language word for the virtues of humanity. That I did not know. Oh. I think we've got a wrap. I think we've got a wrap Jump King for the night here pretty soon. If I'm going to play any Jet Force Gemini. Which I need to do. I think I'm going to have to say goodnight to Jump King here pretty shortly. We'll try for a few more minutes, see if I make it back up near the tower. But if I do, we're only going to make one more run at it. What am I doing? That slide that's disguised as stairs is so gross. Oh, it hurts to make it back up to the same thing and fail it in the same way multiple times in a row. Oh. You see, it's annoying. It's annoying when I make the same mistake several times in a row because it's like, why can I be consistent in the wrong way, but I can't be equally consistent in the right way? Why is it only the wrong way that I can lock in and be consistent on? It doesn't feel like that's the way the universe should treat me. I should have equal consistency with good moves. That's Jank's law. Hey, we have a raid from Dollar Phil coming in. OMG Pete, welcome in. Thank you for coming along. There's Dollar Phil. How did you were playing Star Soldier tonight? Did you win, Dollar Phil? Is it over? Mortal Crux, welcome in. Thank you for coming along. Dancing DKs, that's Abby's emote, right? Yeah. You love this game, don't you? I do, actually. I do really love this game. I hated it for a long time, but when I started making it to the credits a couple times, that really changed my perspective. I unironically love this game. It's up there. It's up there now. Doesn't mean I'm not struggling though. We're really struggling. This section that I'm in right now is extraordinarily difficult. And what's above it is another extraordinarily difficult section. We're actually about to switch games for the night. We're not going to play this too much longer. Because I need to give some time to Jet Force Gemini to hopefully make some progress in that game. but I would like one more run at the area above this one. I just don't know if I'm going to be able to make it back up there again. But yeah, this is Jump King is really a wonderful game. It's definitely worth giving a go if you like challenging platformers. The base game, the main game is actually really manageable. Part of the reason it took me forever to beat the game, like I struggled with it. I have like the longest first playthrough in human history for Jump King. I'm the slowest man on earth to ever reach the credits. But part of that is because I played the game super infrequently and had to spend a lot of time relearning the same stuff over and over again. And another part of it is I played the DLC before I played the main game. And so, but here's the thing. Because I did the DLC first, it took me 92 hours to beat the game. Because, like I said, I was playing it very irregularly. And I did the wrong path first. But then after that, I went back and played the main game, and it took me less than 5 hours. Now, granted, I had a lot of practice from doing the DLC, so I was in top form, and I'd already explored a lot of the main game before I locked myself into the DLC, but that's a pretty tremendous improvement. That's just to say, I don't think most people who play this are going to spend 92 hours on their first playthrough. So, if this game looks like it's intriguing to you, then at least the main game, I think, is definitely worth experiencing. The DLC paths, only if you love the main game. This is DLC 2. There are 2 DLC paths in this game, and we're on the second one. I was repeatedly told not to play DLC 2 because it's too hard and not worth it. And it's pretty hard, but it's not the bone-shattering experience that I was promised just yet. It's pretty hard, but I don't feel overwhelmed by most of it. It's basically like it's pretty similar to the other paths. It's a little tougher than either of them. The main problem is it's got a couple super difficult bottlenecks. It's just that there are 1 or 2 jumps where you come to a bottleneck that if you don't make, you have to pull off a pixel perfect move, or you're just stuck repeating the same zone for forever. That's what makes it so tough. There are places that are kind of like that in DLC 1 too, though. So, not as brutal, but close. Anyway, that's what I think about this game. If you find this game on sale, if you like tough platformers, you know, it's not that expensive to begin with, but if it goes on sale, the main game is definitely worth checking out. Let me finally read the chat. We did pretty well tonight. Close to a PB and a definite PB in Streets of Rage 3. I didn't catch that one. Well, congratulations on both. Especially the Streets of Rage. Now, Streets of Rage, I've played a little bit. I played the first one time. I didn't beat it, but I spent an afternoon with Streets of Rage 1, and I liked it more than I thought I would. I'm usually pretty hesitant about beat-em-up style games, but Streets of Rage 1 was actually pretty cool, so I will go back to it and finish it at some point, probably. And then we'll see about the sequels. I don't know how many of them I own. I mean, I could always use the flash card, I guess, but I still largely think, like, planning my schedule in terms of games I have physical copies of. I won't say much, but 3 is unfair. Well, that's not good to hear. I think I did something similar with Cuphead. Got off onto the DLC path. I don't know how the Cuphead DLC works. We have another raid. Nato's coming in as well. Dollarfield just raided in, and NatoFed is right behind. Welcome in additional raiders. Thank you very much. I was talking a little bit about your stream earlier today, Nato. I didn't, I was lurking for a little while you were playing Tears. I was watching you build roller coasters in a shrine. I hope the rest of the stream went just as well. Streets of Rage 3 came with a limited edition of the Genesis. You have yet to lose all hope, Cal says. Maybe that's why I can't beat this. Nato says, Tears of the Kingdom was really good today. That was a fun shrine. Watching your playthrough of that game is like, I already have like nostalgia for that game now. It was so fun to play through that one, and I'm really enjoying watching your playthrough of it as well, because it just reminds me of so many good times. And our approaches to games are pretty similar. You are very much committed to doing things your own way, and so I appreciate that a lot. I guess I should specify when I say our approaches to games are very similar, that I do mean that as a compliment. I largely think the way that I play games is unreasonable, but you you find a much better balance than I usually do. BRB, we'll see you when you return. When Tears is in the title, it's a good sign. Tears will also fill your eyes. I don't know if we'll ever go back to Tears of the Kingdom, because, like, I didn't do everything in the game. But we did a whole lot. We spent so much time with it. I don't really expect I'm gonna pick it up again, which is kind of a shame. Like, that's something I don't want to say. That's something I don't want to say because it's a lot of fun. But I guess there's a slim chance. Like, I'm not gonna go and get all the Koroks. That's just not going to happen. But there is a chance I could go back and get all the Bubble Frogs. Getting all the Bubble Frogs is not impossible. Of course, we would pick up any Koroks we came across along the way, but yeah, I don't have any intentions of doing it soon. The NFL draft starts soon, so I'll be deeply unaware of what's going on with that, EpiPen says. That's some kind of sports ball, right? You've already got me beat if you even know what's happening. I think that's when the football people are on the player selection screen, Cow says. Now I comprehend. Now I see what's happening. Everyone has to choose who they're gonna be for the season. I got it. I can link my newsfeed despite every effort to remove all sorts of sports from it. I don't think I use any apps that have like a news feature. Sometimes there'll be a news window in YouTube. Like when I'm scrolling down, there'll be a like one of those recommended, like one of those like recommended bars that has some things in it. I always X those out regardless of whatever they are. Pretty much. They've never put up a bar that like immediately enticed me to whatever was in it that I can recall. That's about it. After all, the news is just spoilers for what's going on in the world anyway, right? uh. Frownie doesn't want to spoil any future history books. One of my favorite games is NFL Blitz. It's been canceled. I kind of like playing sports games when they weren't so EA realistic. I don't know that I follow. I'm only into sports games. I'm only into sports games when they have some large fantasy element to them. Like, I'll play a Mario sports game, or like Mega Man Soccer, but so far as like games that are like based around like real world sports with real teams and stuff, I've never been enough interested to really want to play any of those games. Except, I guess, like, I played Tecmo Bowl on the NES. Does that count? And Blades of Steel? Like, those are pretty just straightforward sports games, right? That's about it. NFL Blitz, it was like, it had fantasy elements, even though it was real teams. It was exaggerated and over the top. All right, that sounds kind of fun. So yeah, that's a shame if they kind of ironed that sort of stuff out of it. Yeah, see, I didn't know. I'm not familiar enough with NBA Jam to know that that was a exaggerated and over-the-top game. And pretty much the only sport I ever got close to following was boxing. And I never really followed boxing. I would just say it's the only one I ever got close to following. And that's just because my parents would watch boxing when I was young, and I would watch matches with them, but like I never like knew it well enough to really like know who the boxers were and how their careers were going and how they stacked up against each other. I just was into it enough that I would sit down and be engaged with an entire match. that's pretty much it. As close as I ever got to being into a sport. Nothing else just ever really caught my attention. I played basketball for a while when I was in middle school. I was on the school basketball team. I wasn't particularly good, but I was really tall for my age, so... Pretty much it was just a matter of waiting by the net for one of my teammates to throw me the ball so I could drop it in. Hey, Fang, welcome in. I'm looking forward to Tyson versus Jake Paul. EpiPen says. And there's a big fight. Besides that, I couldn't remember a thing about it. Jake Paul is a punk, Fang says. Is there, Oh, wait a minute. Is Jake Paul versus Tyson a real thing? I assumed that was a joke. That's happening in July. Well, that's surprising. I probably won't be tuning in. I don't think I'm gonna make it back up to the top again tonight, my friends. I think I've made it given it all my best efforts, but I think we've seen all we're gonna see of the Phantom Tower for tonight. We tried our best. We made it to the tower how many times? I made it up there twice. So I did get to see it. I didn't tie my PB or make a new one. But we got close. So we'll just let Jump King hang out in the corner over here. That means I won't play this until... It means I won't play this until next week. That's unfortunate. I'll probably play this again. Hopefully I'll stream Sunday night. I might be too tired Sunday night. Sunday or Monday, whichever stream happens first. If there's no Sunday stream, it'll happen on Monday, but I'll try to make Sunday happen for Jump King. Can't play it tomorrow night because we're playing Contra tomorrow night. We're going to do nothing but Contra. Planning for the 3 NES games. Contra and Super C. The thing about that, Contra and Super C, I expect to beat fairly easily. I haven't played them in a while, so I'll be rusty. They won't be like flawless runs, but I think we'll get through them pretty quickly. Contra Force, I don't know how that's gonna go. That could be like I beat it real quick because it's easier than the other two, or it could be that I struggle with it all night and never make any progress because it's janky and terrible. So it's gonna be interesting to see how that one goes. Thank you for the GGs. I learned about that less than terrible overshoot jump in the tower area, which is a win. Yeah, that the right hand side is a little safer than I thought. We're not done with the stream, though, my friends. We are going to continue. We're going to switch to the N64, and we're going to play Jet Force Gemini for the rest of the night. So if you'll excuse me just a moment, I'll make that switch happen, and I'll be right back with you.